Let's Talk Oculus is brought to you by, well, you. If you want to know how to support the show, go to patreon.com/playtestvr. What's up, Oculus nerds? Welcome back to Let's Talk Oculus. I'm Dan from Playtest VR, and making his return is my co-host, the Olympian, Samson. What's happening, Samson?
Not quite. Not too much, man. Lots of Synthriders this week, as you know.
Yeah, I'm sure we'll talk about your quest in the VR Olympics a little later on. But also joining us is one half of the VR Verdict podcast. Friend of the show, PJ, is here. PJ, welcome to Let's Talk Oculus.
Hey, thanks for having me. I'm so excited. I've been podcasting for like 6 years. I've only been a guest once. So it's good to be on that side and not have to worry about the background stuff.
Yeah, definitely. And we'll talk about a bit of PJ's journey in VR a little later on. But just a roundup of what we're going to talk about. We have quite a lot, actually. We've got the new Beatsaber DLC, huge music pack. So we'll talk about what that means for it and what it means for rhythm games in general. The second part, we'll also be talking about Jurassic World Aftermath. Star Wars release date just got released for part 2 as well. A few games are taking advantage of AR capabilities, so we'll talk more about that. And Pico, the Pico VR headset, which is primarily available in China, has been acquired by TikTok. So we'll talk about what that means in terms of the Quest. So lots to cover, and of course, what we've been playing and the releases that are coming out this week. There's not many, to be fair, but we have a few. But first, a little housekeeping. If you're on audio, there is a video version on the Let's Talk Oculus YouTube channel, and vice versa. If you're watching us, you can listen to us on all podcast platforms. All the links will be in the description below. And if you want to be a part of the show, write in at letstalkoculus@gmail.com and head over to patreon.com/playtestvr and consider supporting us for just $1 if you absolutely love the show. And on that note, we have 2 new patrons. So we have Robin, who joined us last week on the Let's Talk Oculus Unfiltered. So go back and listen to that one if you've not. It was a good discussion about sexual harassment and abuse in VR. It is quite a heavy episode, but definitely go and check that one out. That came out last week. And the other Patreon is Nate's. So I don't know if I'm pronouncing his name properly. I did ask him for the pronunciation, but he did say it's pronounced Nate's. And he's been an active listener on the show for a while now. We've spoken briefly through Twitter many times, and he did write in with a question. So let's start off the show with his question. And it is one that a lot of people ask, to be fair. And that's, do you expect the Quest 3 this year? My spider sense tells me it's next year. So I'm assuming he's asking us in this year's Connect, do you expect a new one? So we'll start off with you, PJ. What are your thoughts on it?
Yeah, I would agree with him. I think next year is probably the right time. I think they might have even kind of mentioned there won't be like a Quest 2 Pro this year or anything. And I'm thankful for that because, I have a Quest 2. My battery hasn't even worn out on my first Quest, so upgrading is, as fun as that is. And without cloud saves, which I think we'll get into a little later, kind of sucks to buy a new headset and have to start over a game or, something like that. But I think next year would be the best time, or a better time than this year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, same Samsung's next year, probably.
Yeah, Quest 3, I definitely think it'll be, fall or even holiday 2022. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I think the fact that the 128 gigabyte one got released a week ago now, a couple of weeks ago, kind of ruled out any. It'd be a bit weird to release a new version of the Quest 2 with the 128 and then release a new headset, because there'll be a bunch of new owners and they'll be like, what the hell? 3 months later, there's a new headset.
Yeah.
And there'll be yeah.
To the same point, like the Quest 2 is doing so well anyway. There's no reason really to set on another one. So.
Definitely. I don't think the developers yet have been able to take a full advantage of the hardware as well. Obviously, it is limited as mobile VR, but still, I feel like there's probably more that they can really squeeze out before we need a one. But so thanks, Robin and Nate's who join Eric, Brandon, Craig, Matt, Andrew, Kai, and Kimberly to be our 9 patrons. So we thank you very much for your support.
Almost to double digits.
Almost to double digits. All right. So without the other way, let's talk a bit about you, PJ, before we go into the news. Let's talk about your history here. What was your first experience in VR, and how did you even get into it in the first place?
Depends on what you describe VR as. Like I remember playing and now I'm gonna forget it. This is why you guys are doing a really good job writing some stuff down. The Nintendo
the Virtual Boy?
Virtual Boy.
Yeah.
I played that when I was a teenager, I'm sure. Mm-hmm. And I was like, that's freaking awesome. So fast forward till, 2018. We were there's a very touristy area, kind of an hour away from where I live. And we kind of just happened upon a VR arcade. I'm like, hey, let's check this out. Because I've known VR is a thing. I've always been interested, but in the past you've needed such a heavy duty PC and to spend a lot of money. I'm like, I'll wait till it's feasible. Went in there, put a headset on. I'm like, I have to have this now.
Yeah.
And then my brother Wookie from the podcast and a bunch of my friends came up. They're all down in the South. I put them in the same experience. It was instantly, we have to have this. Mm-hmm. And it was for both trips. It was Elven Assassin was the first thing we played. Mm-hmm. You go into these arcades and they have like a real quick video. You can see what you can play and pick out your games. So we made a list. We never left Elven Assassin. It was like 3 grown men just laughing and shouting and sweating and falling over in this arcade, just enjoying the hell out of it.
That's awesome.
That's awesome. And Samson, you've played that game a lot, haven't you? Elven Assassin.
Yeah. I've definitely played with some of my IRL friends, and it's one of my friends, his girlfriend. It's her favorite game.
Yeah. Wow. I'm ashamed that I've not even picked it up with all this hype about it.
Oh no. The co-op is great.
Yeah.
And I normally would always prefer co-op over PvP, but just the way the game is set up, there's one PvP map, and I just wish I keep messaging them like once every 3 months. We need another PvP map. There's only one. There's like 5, or they just added a 6th, I think, co-op map, which is awesome. But it's like PvP is so fun in there that I need more maps.
Yeah, definitely. And but what kind of so that was your first? Well, I wouldn't say first, but like your true VR experience. What eventually inspired you to create the VR Verdict podcast?
That's a good story, and you may read about this in the year anniversary subscription of VR Trend magazine. So I'll give you the short story. So we've had a podcast for the last 6 years that actually was created from us playing on Xbox online with a bunch of us friends. Every night we're dying laughing. I'm like, and I always been listening to podcasts. I'm like, let's do a podcast. We're all pretty funny. We can make some people laugh. And the novelty was we actually did it via Skype on our Xboxes, and to a certain point, and then we were like, hey, we can't do this anymore. It's not working very well. So we did that for 5 or 6 years, had a lot of fun doing it. If anyone wants, it's PG and the gang. We had no rhyme or reason to what we did. We're there to make each other laugh. So it's kind of, some of the episodes are crazy, but there's some good ones. So if you want a list of the best of, in my opinion, there's some really good ones. Just quick example. We got a hold of one of our friends' OkCupid accounts and we rewrote his entire thing and really had fun with it. And then the funny story to that is instantly he got all kinds of hits and likes, and
wow,
he is now married to the woman that fell in love with his description.
All right. After the pod, could you help me with my Hinge profile, maybe?
Yes. But yeah, it was a good time. We had a lot of fun. So we did that for a long time, and then finally we're like, all right, there's nothing more to do. We did it all. So we kind of retired it. And then I got into VR, and I was just like, so when I got into VR, the biggest thing surprise to me was there wasn't a lot of information. And back then, VR was really freaking confusing
Mm-hmm.
with USB ports and headset, and there was no information.
Yeah.
So Wookie and I went through it, got headsets, figured a lot of stuff out. I'm like, hey, we got some podcast experience. Let's just do this and help people get into VR. So we did a couple episodes, and it was just him and I talking about stuff, and we tried to have a format. And I'm like, I really don't want to hear myself talk. And my brother and I mean, we're both in our 40s, so we communicate telepathically. So us even playing games sometimes, we don't say a word. We just know what we're. So the podcast was like, that's probably not exciting to listen to. So, I was really fascinated by how the VR community is so well knit and so close, and everyone is just amazing.
Yeah.
So I'm like, well, let's start talking to devs. I'll just start giving, hey, you want to come talk on the podcast type of thing. Our first guest ever was the team from Supernatural, and they were so much fun. Again, anyone listening wants a link to that, just message me. Otherwise, you can search it. But they were so much fun. It was such a blast. I'm like, that's what I want to do. I want to, not. We started talking to other devs. I'm like, I want to talk to people. I want to hear the background stories.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to kind of be a bridge between gamers and devs because, the way I see it, a lot of gamers are like, they play a game for 5-10 minutes. Oh, this game's shit or crap or whatever. Sorry.
That's fine.
And, they just they don't know what's behind it. They don't know how much hard work, how much blood, how much sweat, how much time, like these single dev teams. It's just insane to me how I couldn't do it.
Yeah.
So I just want to be a bridge to help them share their stories. I find it super fascinating. I also get a lot of game keys. That's the only way I get paid to do the podcast. I pay for everything out of pocket because I just enjoy it. So, so that's how we ended up doing the podcast. And here we are a year later. We're finally in VR, which I never thought would happen. I wanted to check on it, but we both work full-time jobs. So it's it's a lot of time. So thankfully, shout out to Spatial Ape. They said, hey, come on in and let's work together. And it's been amazing.
Yeah. And for those who don't know Spatial Ape, they're, what would you say, like a VR trade show that happens every Thursday. I'll put a link to it in the show notes if anyone wants to check that out, because you do have to sideload that app to go in. And I'll also put a link to that Supernatural one. But it is interesting, PJ, because I remember I was on your podcast once, I think back in January or something.
Yep.
And I remember when I first reached out, I looked at all your other episodes, and it's interesting to see the transition between your first bunch of episodes where I won't say normal gaming episodes, but you're talking about a certain game or a certain accessory or a certain headset or a news piece or something. And then you see the flip, and it goes from there to devs, and you can see that the rest of them was devs. And the thing I really like about your podcast is that I haven't listened to every single one, but if I like a certain game and I want to know more about it, it's great to jump in and go, oh, VR Verdict's got a podcast on this, on the devs or such. It's interesting to just go in and hear more about the backstory. And I think that's what your podcast captures. And I think not many other podcasts do that, to be fair. But it is a good listen.
Yeah. And one last thing I forgot, kind of a pivotal point. So there, like I said, my brother and I communicate telepathically. There was an episode towards the end where everyone else kind of ditched us. So it was just going to be my brother and I. And I'm like, what the hell do we do? Let's talk about VR. And that episode quadrupled our normal downloads, which I don't care about stats, but that one was what the hell is this? So I looked for other podcasts, and there was only one other VR podcast. So I'm like, let's do it. By the time we got everything spun up, there's a couple more, which is fine. With you guys, a lot of people are like, aren't they a competition? I'm like, no, they're friends. And I love your guys' podcast. I listen all the time. Totally different. Even if it was the same, I wouldn't care. But so that was kind of another reason why we're like, hey, we can fill this gap, hopefully, and people will enjoy it. So
Yeah, on the competitive thing is like this. I don't think that's what this VR industry is like. We're
No.
not out to compete. I mean, we talked about just before the show, Samson, you're on the intro of the new Between Realities podcast. So
Oh yeah.
yeah,
Everybody's just interconnected.
yeah.
And honestly, the VR Verdict podcast is really how I got to know you, Dan. Like
Oh
Oh,
wow.
that interview,
I
really.
didn't know
Yeah,
that either.
yeah.
Very well. Well,
Yeah.
it's VR Verdict, which Let's Talk Oculus was born. It's made me blush now. I'm very happy.
Yeah, and
Well,
the thing about VR is like is the community is so great because I was also at a time like I've played games since I was probably way
yeah.
too young. Um and it just like the cycles that normal gaming takes, like, there's the same Call of Duty game out every year and this and that. It got to a point where I'm like, am I getting too old or am I sick of gaming or are the games just sucking? So VR was like that breath of fresh air that I really needed. That like this is amazing. I'm back into gaming wholeheartedly.
Mhm.
So it really kind of saved my, I won't say life, but my gaming
Your gaming
fun.
life. I think a lot of people go into those lulls, especially people who have been gaming for a while. Like when the PS5 and the 360, not 360, sorry, the Series X got announced, wasn't really interested. I was more interested when the Quest 2 was going to be announced and such, because I was like, this is just completely different. And you go back and forth now and again. But yeah, I resonate to that as well. Like VR is the medium of it, and especially the what you can do with it. It's not just gaming. I mean, you play Supernatural most times. I see you on there all the time.
Yeah, every day I try to. And to that point, like, um, sorry, I lost my train of thought. I tend to do that. With gaming, as gamers, that's what I thought the podcast was. Then I started seeing all these other applications, like for medical stuff and therapies and
Mhm.
name it. And those have actually been really more interesting episodes of ours to me. Like when we talked to Rosie Summers about art and stuff,
Mhm.
like just amazing stuff. And then it still has that gaming stuff down here, but the other stuff is like really interesting. So it's been crazy.
It's
Yeah,
definitely so much more than gaming.
Yeah.
it definitely is, and I guess we'll talk about it a little later on in terms of what else that VR does because of stuff that's coming out soon. But yeah, definitely check out the VR Verdict podcast. Like I said, I'll have all the show notes, all the links in the show notes. Yeah, wow, Samson, you met me through there. I'm still amazed by that fun fact of the day.
I can still I can remember exactly where I was when I listened to that podcast. It's kind of weird.
Sounds like a love story to me.
Yeah.
Another fun thing to that, I started talking to Sam on Twitter, and I didn't realize you were part of this podcast until afterward. I'm like, that's weird.
Yeah,
So it's kind of neat how it's organic.
Yeah.
it's a small
Definitely.
community in the end of the day.
No.
A niche. All right, so I'm sure we'll talk a bit more about PJ's backstory as we go on, but let's get on to the news now. And Beatsaber has released the Skrillex music pack, which features 8 tracks, including the newly released track by Justin Bieber. And I'll just read off the listing before we talk about it. And we got Bangarang, First of the Year, The Devil's Den, Scary Monsters, and Nice Spirits. Ragabomb, Rock and Roll, Don't Go, which is the new track, and Butterflies. And for those of you who don't know Skrillex, you probably have heard it because it is very unique. Well, at least it was when he first came out. And it's like high octane EDM, which I think is actually perfect for Beat Saber. And Samson, since you're a big rhythm guy, I'll let you kick off the conversation there. What do you think of the music pack? And
Yeah, cool. So
yeah.
quite honestly, I'm not much for EDM, and I mean by title, I don't recognize any of the songs. I'm sure I've heard, at least a couple of them.
Yeah.
Um, I did see the new like map, if you will, and it looked pretty cool. Though I don't think it has anything on the Synthrider maps. Uh, but yeah, it seems pretty sweet. It's great for all those Beat Saber, streamers and everybody who loves the game. Um, But yeah, I mean, I know Oculus is pushing it because I saw an ad for it, like just going through my normal Facebook.
Yeah, of course they're like all on Beat Saber. I think
Yeah.
this is a big pack for them because I think, as far as I'm aware, as just judging the Beat Saber community, they really like this type of music, and I think the reason why is because it's a big challenge to actually do it on expert level. Like these, if you've not listened to these songs, and like you said, Samson, you don't recognize. I only recognize two of them, to be honest. But they are crazy. They're like wang, 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 bang all over the place, you know. So I think people in that space will really like it. PJ, you play Beat Saber at all, or?
Yeah, I have a love grumpy relationship with Beat Saber because I got it on PC VR way back before it really came out, and then it came out, and I love it. It's fun. A lot of the music isn't my favorite music, but in rhythm games, it's fun. Like there's some Skrillex songs in Supernatural that you squat to, and holy crap, it's a workout. But and I don't know what you guys' opinion on this is, but it's like, okay, it's on Quest 2. This game has been out forever.
Yeah.
When are we going to see a price drop, or just give the game away to sell, with the Quest when you buy it? Because I very much support devs that have like cross buy over everything, because I buy a lot of freaking games, so I appreciate it. But this game has been out so long. Yes, it's probably still a top tier game in everyone's mind, but it's like, give it to me for free. I'll play it more. I'll buy the song packs. Skrillex is, it's not music I'd listen to on purpose, but when it's in other things, especially beat games or rhythm games, it's great. I don't want to hear Justin Bieber, sorry, but the rest of it is good.
Hey, he's our Canadian hero.
Personal preference. But,
yeah, I've never thought about like how much it would cost to buy Beat Saber and all the music packs, but you got to be talking like $50 to $70, I imagine.
Well, the music packs normally go, I think they technically go for 15, but when they normally go for $10 per pack. And they've got a bunch of them now. They have loads. They have the Skrillex one. They have the Linkin Park one, which I personally love. They have the Interscope one. They have 2 Monster Cat ones, a Rocket League one as well. I think that's the same one, to be honest. But they have so many, and you're kind of right in PJ. Like, if they could release the base game for free now with the 4 soundtracks that they have, technically 3. The 4th one is like, it's got a couple songs on there, or 4 songs in total. It's a smaller version, but they could release the base game for free or package it with every quest. But at the same time, it's such a big seller. They don't have to. I know,
but and that game, I think it's been on sale when it's been on, like, since Oculus has acquired them, maybe twice, if that.
I've never seen it on sale.
It's so just drop it to $10, then I'd buy it. But I'm not paying 30 again when I've already paid. And and on the PC version, and I can do this on the Quest 2, I still like the sites. I won't name them, but you can just pick any song you want, and it's pretty good. And that's, I want to hear the music I want to hear, so I go that route when I want to play it. But
they did promise custom songs in like sometime in a tweet in 2019. That's never happening with all these music packs, for sure.
No.
Yeah, these I mean, that's the problem, right? With Beat Saber, they don't allow custom songs. I mean, you can get them on the Quest. There is a way. It's a little bit of a complex way, but once you do it once, you can kind of get it sorted. But it requires you to download a different copy of Beat Saber, and it's a little sketchy, to be honest. And the worry is that, well, one, you can't play online because of those custom songs, and second of all, with Facebook's track record of banning lots of accounts, you don't want to risk that over getting you don't want to risk that over that. But the thing is, with also Beat Saber, I didn't know it was not crossplay. Did not know that.
Yeah, or cross buy or anything. It's like,
cross buy. That's what I meant.
In my mind, anything Oculus should hit all of those check mark boxes.
100%.
Just as a standard, as I don't know if you
especially
want to call
if you're owned by Oculus.
Yes. Yep.
Well, that's the
Like,
thing.
come
It
on.
should be Xbox do great. Like, I just bought a Series S, and they do great because if you have it on the Xbox, you also have it on PC, and I
Yep.
think that's just how it works. It should work like that because obviously, if I know they don't sell the Rift anymore, but if I mean you have the Quest, you're gonna put it to the PC. It'd be nice to play the full best resolution, best refresh
Yeah.
rate Beatsaber if you plug it in your PC, and then if you want the wireless version, you have it with you as well,
Yep.
and all your progress continues. The save continues. It makes a lot of sense. But the thing is, I mean, I don't like this, but at the same time, it's the number one game by far. Like the most popular, like we might not say it's our favorite game, but it is the number one. You even see the people on YouTube who like the content creators who pretty much exclusively do Beat Saber stuff. They
Yeah.
have thousands and thousands and thousands of followers, and on
Yeah.
TikTok as well. I'm sure Samson's seen a bunch. Beat Saber is probably
Oh,
crushing
I
it.
noticed the video that won the TikTok contest for Smash Drums. In her video that she got the most likes on, she hashtagged Beat Saber.
What? What a
Yeah.
cheat! What a cheat! Let's call that out right now. We have some match fixing here. But yeah, that's the thing with Beat Saber. I think like it's a fantastic game. Like, don't get me wrong, it's
Yep.
fantastic. But I think, well, I can only speak for me and Samson. I don't know about you, PJ, but I think the fact that because we have so much love for Synthriders and Pistol Whip and other rhythm games, but we can see that Oculus never pushes them at all.
Yeah.
I think that kind of puts our frustration and dampens our willingness to play that game.
Yep. It does affect it.
Yeah, definitely. But yeah, I personally won't be picking you up because I just don't play Beat Saber anymore. I'm not gonna lie. But
Yeah.
Samson. I know you're not gonna pick it up. PJ, potentially, no, no, or Beat Saber haters over here.
Not a hater, just
Yeah,
till
It's not for me.
they kind of right some wrongs that I perceive in my mind.
yeah. I'm still not a hater because I only have a 64 gig Quest. I only had 2 gigs the other day, and I opted not to uninstall Beat Saber. It's still on there. Up to the uninstall other games. So I'm definitely not a hater, but it's just not what I go to at the moment.
Yep.
But moving on, Jurassic World Aftermath Part 2 has a release date of September 30th, and it will be $14.99. And this, like most Oculus releases, released out of the blue. I know me and Samson, we've been waiting for it. We've not played the first one. Well, I have now, but we'll talk about that later. PJ, you're excited about this? Did you play the first one?
I I was super excited. I played the first one for a couple hours and then realized, hey, I don't know how it happened exactly, but I found out it's half of the game,
Yeah.
if you want to call it that. So I'm like, I was at a good stopping point. So I'm like, when that is released, I'll come back. But I had a lot of fun with the 2 hours I spent in it. I'm excited to see this come out. When they did this with Jurassic and Aftermath and Star Wars Galaxies, it was kind of like, I don't know, it kind of felt like they pulled the rug out from under us a little bit. But as long as they're gonna actually finish them, I'm okay with it. Took longer than I thought it would, but yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah,
I'm
it took a
pumped.
full, yeah. Samsung, you picked it up. I picked it
Yeah,
up
yeah.
too.
It went on sale last week, so I couldn't resist because I figure eventually I'll get in there. I'm in no
Mhm.
real rush to get in there, but I feel like I'd have fun. I enjoy the world of Jurassic World.
Yeah, and you have time. It's not till September 30th. But while we're on the topic, I might as well speak a little bit about it because I have been playing it for the last couple of days, the first one. And it's first of all, I love the art style.
Yes.
But I thought, I don't know if PJ, if you can remember, but I think the first hour or at least 40 minutes is pretty slow. But it does
Yes.
it sets the mood, but it's pretty slow, and you're kind of just walking through rooms and there's nothing really to interact, and it's just more of a you just follow the game. It's more like an on rails thing for a bunch of it. But then the Raptor came in,
Yeah.
and then I was like, okay, here we go. Now, for starters, I'm freaking scared. Like right now, I'm intense in these rooms. Even though once again, there's not much. It's not like people compared this game to Alien Isolation,
No way.
Yeah, it's not like that. It's not as in depth like that as well. But I can see what they mean in terms of when you hide in lockers and such. But yeah, I remember I went into one room. This is still early on. I played like an hour and a half, and I went into one room, and I didn't know what to do. And there was a radio there. I was like, oh, maybe I turn the radio on. Turn the radio on, and it started going crazy. I was like, oh my God, I could hear noises everywhere. So I go hide. The raptor comes in. I'm starting to shake. I am freaking scared. And then the raptor sees me and jumps at me, and it's pretty cool because as it jumps at you, it like obviously opens its mouth, and then the game pauses, and you go to like the death screen, but you see the raptor in front of you, and you can go walk around it, and you see its like action just before it's about to kill you. But yeah, it's really nice. It's really nice to play. Like I said, it's a slow start, but now I'm getting more into it. I can see the perks of it, and I'm actually glad that I waited because I think if I'm already an hour, 20 minutes, hour and a half in, I think this one was just 3 hours long. So PJ, you must have been quite close, to be honest, to finishing
Well,
it.
with this game, and to your point where it's it starts off a little slow, it does. But I'm one of those with these kind of games, like I explore every nook and cranny of every space, and I do dumb stuff with the background, But I was just curious what your opinion, like, as that whole first hour, almost 45 minutes, it's a long time. And I was on edge the whole time because I'm like, when is this going to pop out and give me?
Yeah.
And it was a long freaking time.
It was a long time. I agree.
It was crazy.
I was on edge, especially with the music, and it was so quiet. I was like, I'm ready for a jump scare. I'm really ready for the jump scare. It did take a while though.
With this game, I really like it for the main reason, like, if you listen to our podcast, I'm not good with horror in VR. Like, outside of VR, nothing has ever bothered me. I've never been frightened by a movie. I don't care. It doesn't affect me. But in VR, it's a whole new thing, and I'm baby stepping my way into horror. Mm-hmm. And this was like a good starting point for me, I think, because the art style, it's a dinosaur, which it still is spooky, but it's not like, I don't know, it's different for me in my mind, apparently, but it's allowed me to kind of break the ice, so to speak, with horror. So I appreciate that.
Ease your way in. Yeah. I also struggle with horror in VR.
Oh.
Although you have been playing Don't Upset Bobby, which is
I played that a few times. That one scared the crap out of me the first 10 times, and then I was like, all right, now I know what to expect here.
I think that's what it is with all horror. In the end of the day, is you get used to it at some point, unless it's massive spiders, and I can never do that. But
real quick with Don't Upset Bobby, we had him on the podcast, and I could barely get through the menu. That music in there, the sound is just perfect. It's enough to like, I'm done. So
I haven't played it yet because I was on vacation when it got released, so I haven't got around to it. But I watched Samson play it on YouTube, and it was perfect. I loved it. Plus, PJ, I remember when I was on your podcast, right at the end, we agreed to play a horror game together, and we never did. So we got to make that happen again. It's coming.
October is right around the corner, and it doesn't have to be spiders.
No, as long as it's not spiders, it's fine. It's fine. Well, as we obviously spoke about Jurassic World, we've also got Star Wars: Tales of the Galaxy's Edge, which also got a release date today, actually, as we're recording, fresh off the press, and that will arrive a little earlier on September 15th, and it will cost less as well. It'll cost $9.99 as a standalone package, but then if you've not got the first game, which I personally haven't, you can buy the full package for $40. I think it was actually $35.
It's 35,
yeah,
USD. You might do Canadian there.
That's true. So $35. I don't know why I'm changing on the script. I've already said it, but yeah. So yeah, same thing again. Star Wars. PJ, have you played the first one again, or did the same thing?
I played it. I went through the whole thing. Again, I was like, oh, they're doing parts of it. What this game, it actually makes more sense because it's like different stories in the galaxy. I love it. I know it. A lot of people say it's good, but it's just kind of like a demo of what it could be, which I don't disagree with. But for what it is, I really enjoyed it. Mm-hmm. And again, we'll get to cloud saves in a bit, but I had to refactory wipe my Quest 2 for some reason. Mm-hmm. so I lost a lot of stuff. And a lot of these games like this one, it's like, oh, cool, I'll just play it again.
Yeah.
And so when I'm willing to do that, it means I really like the game. So I stand by this one. I really like this one.
Samson, did you wait or you played it as well?
I have not played the first one, but I am a big Star Wars fan, so I am excited to get into it. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm super excited too. I haven't played the first one. I was simply waiting for the both. But to be honest, I guess what you're saying, PJ, I didn't really need to. More Jurassic World because that's the story continuation. But yeah, these are like two different episodes. But it's good that I feel like 9.99 is a good price point for the second one as well.
And I hope it does well enough to where they keep going with it
and
do like maybe a story or type of thing, because the graphics are like really good and the story is great. It's fun. There's a lot of different gameplay mechanics and stuff. It's really enjoyable, I think.
Yeah. How would you compare this to the Vader Immortal, or are they like just completely different games?
They're completely different. This is more like an action game where you're actually moving around and it's not kind of like on rails, kind of like Vader Immortal was. Like I loved Vader Immortal for what it was, but it just made me, that was the game where it's like, okay, that's a demo, and that made me want to be able to do more things. Where Galaxy's here actually lets you do more of that stuff. So
yeah, definitely. Well, I'm excited because that's a couple of things that are coming out. Just before we move on, I think we've kind of spoken about it before on this podcast, but I'm interested to hear your thoughts, PJ, with these like announcements just happening rather than giving the fans or the industry some sort of timeline what's happening. Do you think that's a problem with where we're going, or do you think having these like surprise announcements is a good idea?
Personally, I love it because, and again, going back to being a bridge between gamers and devs, like sometimes delays happen.
Yeah.
Delays in my mind are always good. It always sucks, but it's a good thing. So I just like, hey, this will be out tomorrow. Much better than 4 years ago. Hey, we're announcing this game. You get to wait 4 years for it.
Yeah.
As far as like, I put up videos and stuff and this and that. I don't know if I'd say I'm a content creator, but I can, with people that plan things and have schedules, I could see maybe, but just as a gamer, first and foremost, I love it. I just like being surprised. I didn't have to wait for it.
Yeah. I think you can go either way. I think, it is more fun to have the surprise. At the same time, if you're in the industry not in the industry, or if you're in the space for a long time for VR and you want, okay, let me pick up the Quest. Okay, what games are on there? And if you played most of them, and you're okay, what's going to come out this fall? You don't really know. Resident Evil's coming out, and After the Fall is now out in fall. But that's about it. But yeah, I don't know. It's an interesting one. It's a different way because obviously I know the flat gaming, the pancake gaming industry doesn't really do this, to be honest. I think they're more leaning towards it now because there've been so many delays over the years. But I know PlayStation used to announce something and for 4 years in advance or 3 years in advance, which is insane. But I think announcing it on the same year, I think that's good enough, I think.
I'm just curious from a dev's perspective, if this would actually eliminate like crunch times and stuff, because there's no release date to be heard of. So they just do it when it's done. I mean, with these two, we'll go to see like if makes it a better product or not, which I kind of think it would only do that. But
yeah, it'd be interesting to know as well, like I don't know if we're ever going to be able to talk to the devs of these two games because they're pretty big games, but it'll be interesting yeah, I'm pretty sure if anyone can do it, PJ can do it. But I'm just interested to see if this was always the plan with these two games, or was it the fact that because they just didn't have the time to get the Star Wars and Jurassic World completed and out by Christmas last year, they decided to just two-part it, which I could see that happening, especially during the pandemic. And Oculus didn't have much, But yeah, let's move on to talking about a little bit about AR here. And the reason why I want to bring this up is because on Reddit, a developer named Dominic Hackel showed footage of his AR app called Magic Keys, which is out on different like platforms, like mobile platforms and such. But he put it onto the Oculus Quest, and it uses the pass-through to help you learn to play piano. And also Cubism of also trying out AR integrated into their games. What are you guys' thoughts on having AR integration? Because it is slightly held back with the Oculus Quest 2 being that it can only do black and white pass through. But do you think it can work well in games? I think in Cubism it'd definitely be a nice thing. I saw a video by Upload VR where they were doing the puzzle, but the pieces they were put down on their desk. It just makes more logical sense and such. But yeah, what are your thoughts on like using AR?
Well, I think it looks sweet. I mean, I think it makes sense for a game like Cubism. Honestly, I'd love to see it, as an option for like Synthriders or Beatsaber or something like that. But it's just like the tip of the iceberg for Quest and AR, as far as like its utility. The piano app looks freaking sweet. I wish I had a piano, quite honestly. But yeah, I think there's also like the cactus game. I forget what it's called. I think PG, you were playing
VR.
it. Yeah,
I was going to bring that up.
Yeah. But yeah, I definitely I think it could be a great option for a lot of games.
Yeah, I love, they talk about is AR going to overtake VR, this or that, but I love the idea of them just merging and, AR having little spots of AR in games and using it for menus and pass through and, that kind of thing. To me, like VR, I like, games that can separate them and like mix them together. But to me, VR is like totally immersive. I don't want to see my room that I'm sitting in. I can see that without the headset on.
Yeah. But
there are some really neat things. Like we were talking to the Cactus VR Studios on our podcast, and he wanted to be the first one to do it. And as soon as they released it, he was. So I was happy to see that. But we were talking on our podcast, I would love things like if my cat comes in my room, like the game turns my cat into something and I can see it walking around and it doesn't really affect me, but it just does something fun with it. Just little things like that and then menus and safety things and stuff like that. I'm really excited about because with the piano teaching, like again, VR is great for like it's gaming, but then there's so much more on top of it. So stuff like to teach whatever it's piano or whatever they come up with, like I'm really excited for that kind of stuff.
Definitely. I think it can also be a good advertisement for their future AR glasses that they'll put out as well. Yeah. It'll be people like us trying out AR and be like, oh, okay, I really love this. Where can I get a better experience? Oh, Facebook have got glasses already out as well. So I think you're right. It shouldn't be who's going to win the race, AR or VR. I think they're both going to coexist. And it'll be very interesting to see what devs, because there's a lot of devs who are pretty clever with these things and creative. And I spoke to a dev in the spatial ape that we spoke about earlier last week, and he said how it was an airplane game. I can't remember what game it is, to be honest, but he said he had integrated how the windows would show your room in through AR pass through. It's just like a neat way just to see how the what was it called? Whatever the developer kit is for that, to use it in, which is kind of interesting just to see what else they can do with it. Yeah, they've put that in. I don't know. I think he was trying to put that in to reduce motion sickness. Like if you're feeling motion sickness in the plane, just look out the window and you're in your room. I don't know if that works well, to be honest, because I know motion sickness is more to do with your vision coming from the left and right side passing by you. But I'm interested to see, because I think I don't know if we're creative enough, but I'm pretty sure the devs are really creative and thinking of crazy ideas right now.
I think another cool use for a game with a blend of AR and VR is take my living room, map out like a facelift it, map it out, and give it like some weird skin, and then use my actual windows and doorways for like I'm my brain goes to like Call of Duty Zombies, where they're coming in the windows and doors.
Mhm.
That would be neat to fight out zombies in my space, but just make it different than what I normally see.
Yeah.
But just have the same layout would be neat. And then that's another thing. Like Oculus is integrated. Like you can set your chair boundary and a desk boundary now, and you can kind of use that stuff in it in VR. And like I said, safety and stuff like that. That's really neat too. To where like in our VR space for the podcast, we have a desk and there's coffee cups and stuff. It'd be cool to map my actual desk to that desk, because every guest first thing they do is try to pick up the coffee cup, and everyone positions themselves to like, okay, that's where my drink's in real life. So it would be neat to highlight your water bottle, type of thing, and then be able to find it. So a lot of neat things they could do.
Yeah, I agree. And I think for me also, I have such a small room. So with VR, it says move all your stuff out the way. I was like, I can't really. The bed's there, the desk there. I can move the chair. That's about it. I always keep the not the pass through, the Guardian pass through on. So when I look down, I can see the Guardian. So I kind of know where I am in the room. But the issue with that is that it breaks the immersion, because every time, especially in Jurassic World, when I'm like looking down, there's a big blue line around it, which I love because it really helps, especially if you're new to VR, of where you are and getting your boundaries. But yeah, if I can map out more things like the desk, maybe even the bed and the water bottle and such, then I don't really need that in some places.
Or the stuff like you said that you can't move, like maybe it's a footstool or dresser, have it map it out, but add it to the game environment.
Yeah.
And like I said with my cat, turn my cat into one of those little dinosaurs so that she runs by, it doesn't break immersion, just stuff like that.
I was gonna say, then it really helps with immersion. It doesn't no longer breaks it. It like makes it even deeper.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. So interested to see what's going to happen in that space, to be honest. On to our penultimate news story, and it's kind of a big one. TikTok owner ByteDance buys Pico VR for undisclosed fee. Now, if those of you who don't know, Pico VR looks almost identical to the Quest 2, to be honest. But it's pretty much only out in China. There's an enterprise version that's available for people in North America and Europe, but they're a massive social media, and TikTok's taking off, as everyone knows, and Samson definitely knows, being a TikTok star now.
Yeah.
What do you think this means to the Facebook marketplace or the Facebook Oculus place? Because I think with the Oculus Quest itself, it's very cheap for a VR headset, and I think it's because they can subsidize it because they're such a big corporation. And ByteDance and the TikTok owner, probably can do something similar with the Pico, and potentially bring it over to North America. Do you think this would be a good competition, or should we be quite scared that there's two major social media companies who are controlling the VR headspace?
PJ, you want to take this one?
Sure. I think any competition is good. If you asked me like 5 more years ago, like what companies do you think would buy a VR company? It wouldn't have been social media ones to my mind, but it makes sense. It is kind of scary that way with, all the shenanigans Facebook gets up to. But just from a gamer's point of view, again, like competition's good. It gives people the mobile version without having to have a Facebook account, but you'll probably need a TikTok account, or it'll be similar. But it will, kind of bring the market to a better spot and give devs more opportunity. Yeah. So I'm all about that. So in my mind right now, I think it's just nothing but good. And because the headset was released in China, and I was kind of sad to hear like they had no plans to bring it over here.
No.
So I don't know the specifics of the buyout, but hopefully it was good for everyone. And I hope, it does come over here and do some good for the market.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I agree. I'm all for the competition. But the people who are like hesitant to go the Quest route because of the Facebook and the data and the privacy, I don't know that it's going to like swing them, but I'm all for, I think it could help and definitely progress VR.
I think if it requires a TikTok count to sign in, then that might be a problem in that case. But I think if it doesn't and just has its own Pico account, I don't think many people would even know that that it owns by TikTok. I think with Oculus as well, I think most people won't know it would be Facebook if you didn't have to sign in with Facebook, to be honest.
Yeah.
I think we're in a little bubble because obviously we keep up with all the news. With most of our Twitter followers or VR people. So, we know all these little details. But I think the average person who doesn't know much about, especially the people who are going to come into VR, if this doesn't have a TikTok only account, I think it might be a good, compelling option. And I think they can be competitive on the price.
Yeah, and I've talked to a couple of devs who actually got their games on this headset in China, and it's been a good experience for them. The other thing when they released this headset, it kind of made me happy because I've talked to a lot of devs in other countries. They can't even get headsets. They can't get Quests. They have to come over and buy them or have people ship them. So I was happy to hear that. Hopefully that kind of helped that out. So I wonder if that'll continue to grow different
definitely
markets.
Yeah.
We'll definitely have to just wait and see because at the moment there's no details. They've just acquired it and we have no idea. They've not even mentioned if they're planning to bring it out of China. So I think this one is that we can't talk too much about it now because it's all just speculation. We got to just wait and see when we find out a little bit of what they're trying to do, and then we can probably go from there. Because if it doesn't merge to the Western market, then we're back at square one, really. And we're still waiting for someone like HTC to bring something out. But okay, and then final news story is that Facebook tells Oculus developers to disable broken cloud saves, and PJ alluded to this earlier. But what happened was there's a recent tweet from Cubism VR, the Twitter account for that. They said that there are multiple issues with the Oculus storage system for multiple games, blocking the app to start up. Oculus is working on a replacement. However, they are recommending devs to remove this feature. And then to follow up, the developer and artist of the Han Physics Lab, Dennis Kernert, I don't know if I'm saying that right, but he expressed his frustration saying that his game, and I quote, got at least 50 one-star reviews and countless refunds purely because there's nothing I can do about, end quote. So, yeah, it's a big issue, especially because Han Physics Lab is really good.
Yeah.
But PJ, you mentioned earlier you had issues with this as well on your Quest.
I don't know if it was this specifically, but I did have to factory reset and I lost all my saves. There is a way to back up saves if you're a side quest user, which is awesome. But I think I would like to see Oculus standardize like cloud saves and give you an option to connect it to your computer and do have like a quick backup option, just because it's a mobile device. And like I said, I have a Quest 1, Quest 2, and if switching between the two, that save doesn't carry over. That's kind of a pain in the butt. So, but yeah, with his game getting reviewed for that, which is out of his control, not even that I don't know how to fix that. I don't know. That's terrible.
Yeah, it just sucks.
This sucks because those reviews mean a lot especially to smaller devs. Especially like we spoke about before, how games like Beatsaber and Creed and all the Oculus kind of owned titles are the ones that are getting marketing, and stuff like Han Physics Lab, Cubism, etc. don't get the same love. So these reviews mean big things, and not many. There's only so much you can do with a YouTube review, to be honest, especially in VR. So a lot of people just browse the store, and if they see anything less than 4 stars, they're not even bothered, to be honest. And it's a shame. And they don't even look at the reviews sometimes. It's more just, the stars is 3. I'm not going to spend $20 on this, which is a real shame because Ham Physics Lab is one of the gems in Cubism as well.
Yeah. And you'll notice that I don't think any of the Oculus owned games are affected by this,
All the reviews are removed.
Yeah. But yeah, I've had the factory reset, not recently, but about a year ago or so, and it just It just sucks to lose your saves and have to like start all over.
Yeah, I've been lucky enough. I've not factory reset, but there's been so many times throughout some of these updates where once it couldn't find the Guardian whatsoever, so it wouldn't let me even get into the Oculus Home until it did a Guardian. But then every time I said set Guardian, the whole thing would just go black, and it took like a couple of restarts, and it still wouldn't happen. And then I woke up the next day and it was fine. I was like, okay, this is all weird. Yeah, the saves is a big problem, especially if you're playing a game like Saints and Sinners, which is what, an 8-hour game or something like that. That's a long game, and especially in VR.
Yeah.
So to lose, if you're like halfway through, close to finishing, or even if you've done the first few hours and you've lost all that progress because of something that's out of your control, it's a real bummer, and it makes you just not want to bother picking it up again or playing that game again. So yeah, it's important that they get this fixed. But yeah, like PJ said, SideQuest offers a feature of manually backing saves up if you want. But the thing is, with the Quest, it requires no PC, so not many people have those either, which is definitely a problem. Yeah, I don't know why they don't do this, because I think it's so standard on the PlayStation and the Xbox now. It's so standard that this is the way, and I think. Yeah,
it's just funny to me because, and I'm not bragging or anything, but I have 2 Series X's. I have one in my gaming room, one in my living room. I'm a big Xbox fan. I always have been. Just being able to move room to room and then hop on PC as well and do their streaming and have my game just load up in there, and it's not a mobile platform, is just mind-blowing. And then the mobile platform I like to use most doesn't have the option. It's like, come on. Xbox, they could get by with a memory card. They've done it before, but they have the cloud option, and it's very nice. So they really need to get this taken care of and fixed.
100%, especially if it's giving all this negative reviews. So
yeah.
All right. Let's move on to the next part of the show, where we'll be talking about what we've been playing. And I guess, PJ, you're the guest of the show, so let us know, how much VR have you got in the last week or so?
How much time we got left?
As long as you want.
I play a lot of games. Obviously, every week we have a guest, so I try to play their games so I know what I'm talking about. But just personally, as strict up from a gamer's perspective, not from being on the podcast, I've been playing a lot of I Expect You to Die 2. I love the game. The first one is one of my first games I played when I got a headset at home. So good. It has a great sense of humor. It's fun, makes you think. It's a sit-down game, which I appreciate, because some days when I get home from a long day at work, I don't want to run around my room in VR. I would love to be able to, but some days it's not an option. So I love having that as a sit-down game.
Yeah. Is that very close to the first one, or do you think it is a worthy upgrade? Because, for example, I know the Climb 2, people just said the Climb 2 is more like just an upgraded version of the Climb. But Expect You to Die 2 is a worthy successor.
I haven't finished. I think I might be halfway, and I've enjoyed it. I think it may even be better than the first, and that's saying a lot, in my opinion. So I can't recommend it enough, especially if you like escape room type. I don't know if we should call it an escape room type, but it kind of is that. But it's just fun. It's a lot of good mechanics. It's well done. I haven't had any issues with it. So
yeah, our Patreon member Kimberly, she said it's one of her favorite games, and she was really looking forward to playing it. So I think she's on vacation at the moment, but I'm sure that's music to her ears. Samson, did you play Expect You to Die 2 as well? Because you picked it up.
Not yet. Yeah, I did pick it up. I got the pre-order, I think, but no, I haven't gotten in there yet.
Fair enough. So PJ, you Expect You to Die 2? What else you got going on?
Another game I really enjoy lately is Stones of Harleth. They just released an update. They had an arena, but they've added a lot of stuff to the arena. I think they added some new quest lines. It's just a fun, if you're on the older side like I am, and you like the old 18-bit RPGs from yesteryear, it's really neat to do that in VR and see what the mechanics they add. It's just really neat to be in that world. I've been enjoying that a lot. and they update it a lot, so it's very enjoyable.
Nice.
And that's got cross-buy too, I think.
Yep.
Yeah. Samson. A lot of Synthriders.
Yeah,
Tell us
man.
about your Olympic training.
Synthriders Olympics. I've been giving it my all. Mostly focused on the first track. Really, really humbled by this experience. Cannot get. I think the highest I got was 14th, and since then I've been knocked down to 15th on that song. So I'm gonna give it up my all to get in that top 10 at least in the next 2 days. And yeah, I tried the second song. I've really just been focusing on that first song. Oh my God, it's just like a nightmare now to hear that song outside of VR. But yeah. Other than Synthriders, I got into some VR chat actually with Gamertag VR, and we played some Among Us and did some world hopping. That was a blast. And then actually right before this pod, tried out Star Trek Bridge Crew for the first time.
Oh,
And
nice.
I thought that was pretty interesting. Yeah, I'm definitely going to give that another whirl.
Did you have a full crew on your?
So it was me and Kai, our patron.
Yeah.
And the first go round, we had some kid came in, and he was immediately our captain. He knew exactly what he was doing. It was awesome. And then we played one more time, and we had a full room, 4 people. I think one of them had their mic muted. One must have been Russian because he was drinking vodka. But yeah, I think the first mission we started to fail, and then we got away in time. The second time, our ship blew up.
Oh no. Oh no! It says that I've never played that game because you needed friends, and I don't have any friends. So, I'm kidding.
Hey, listen, we played Demio together. We got this. We got this.
PJ's gonna scream. I said that for Demio once, and PJ was not happy. It sounds a lot like, to be fair, with that guy coming in and captaining your ship. It does sound a lot like when PJ came and played Demio with us because he knew everything.
100%.
Not everything, but
he knew stuff. Yeah, we were like rookies, but yeah, that's awesome. So with the VR Olympics there with Synthriders, you've been eating well, been sleeping well, getting your push-ups in.
That's part of the problem. I've been like a little stressed out with life, and like sleep has been a struggle for me this week. And yeah, it's definitely makes it tough to like play an intense rhythm game. And it's on like, it's on master mode. I can only play it like 5 times in a row before I'm like, all right, I need to take like a 20-minute break here and then come back to it. My arms and shoulders are all sore.
That's the thing I've noticed in VR, where it's like if you are stressed or just tired in general, say you just had a long day of work and you're just tired, it's hard to jump into a VR title compared to just a flat title because you're so immersed, right? And it takes a lot more energy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can I ask a personal question, Sam?
Yeah.
Are you doing like with like you guys? Every time I listen, you're talking about Synthriders, which is awesome because it's worth talking about. But I don't mean to like put you on a spot, but you're looking really good. Are you like losing weight and stuff, doing all this stuff? But
I can tell when I play like Synthriders and Pistol Whip consistently to when like last week I was on vacation and I was like, oh, I feel kind of lethargic. So it definitely like that's 100% my workout. Yeah.
Nice.
That's a great segue to what I've been playing.
Appreciate the comment though. Thank you.
No problem.
What I've kind of been playing is, apart from Jurassic World Aftermath, which we've already spoke about, I've been doing a lot of VR fitness, to be honest. I was on vacation for 3 weeks, as you know, because there's no podcast. And I ate so much terrible food, but amazing food, great, like pizza poutine.
Saw the poutine.
Oh yeah. Highlight. A lot of baseball games, so a lot of hot dogs and poutines as well. But it's time to get back into shape. So I decided to like make my fitness plan be more catered to include a lot of VR. Especially how like we all when you work full-time job or when you're tired and such, you don't really want to go to the gym or travel or anything like that. You just want to do it at home. And I don't really have much at home. I have a few weights, but I thought VR fitness, here we go. So what I did was I played a lot of Synthriders. A lot of that Caravan Pack. The Caravan Pack is so. Is it what was the actual? Is it Caravan Club or
Caravan Palace, I think.
Caravan Palace? Oh my god! And the Electro Swing as well.
Oh,
Electro
Electro
Swing
Swing is super intense. Yeah.
That's like the best DLC ever for a rhythm game.
Yeah, yeah. And that's I mean. And to be honest, the Caravan one is very similar in some or some songs. But yeah, the Electro Swing has got to be one of my favorites so far. I absolutely love that DLC, and I like to play it on hard because I'm not as Samson's level. But I've been started to play some on expert as well.
Oh yeah.
So we're getting there. We're getting better. And it's funny because after I've played a few levels in expert, when I go back to hard, it feels too slow, and I'm like, this is too easy, and it's crazy how that progression goes. So yeah, I've been playing a lot of Synthriders just before going to work in the morning, which has been nice to do a quick exercise in there. And I finished Pistol Whip as well. I finished the Smoke and Thunder.
Nice.
I wanted to finish it on hard, so I did it all on hard.
Wow.
To be honest, I found it pretty simple because I should really feel myself playing Pistol Whip because I'm all over the place like a clown. Like yes, I don't look at the bullets coming. I just know they're coming, so I'm just all over the place. But that's great for fitness, right? The only one that really stumped me was the last one, and it was the boss. And what happens is with the boss is that I found the boss kind of more simple. I don't know if it's because of the boom shot gun that's in there. Because you can like take out 3 people at once technically if you get the shot right. But the one thing that really stumped me was right at the end, like literally right at the end, I kept failing all of the time. It was because they just kept throwing millions and millions of bombs at you. And I was like all over dodging, getting one to the face. And it's, yeah, I think I replayed it probably, I think I did it like 8 or 9 times. And
Wow.
I finally got it. And I kept failing on the exact same part. I just couldn't get past it. So, yeah, Smoke and Thunder, amazing. I mean, we spoke about it a couple of weeks ago on the podcast, but now I finished it. Like I said, I felt it was easier than the 2089 one, but maybe I'm just getting better at Pistol Whip, and that's probably why.
I really struggled with that 2089 boss. Yeah, a lot.
The boss and the mission that you have no guns.
Yeah.
And you're just fighting through. That's such a workout, but it's fantastic. PJ, you played a lot of Pistol Whip? You played Smoke and Thunder?
Pistol Whip is the game I got people to buy headsets with instantly. Yeah. Such a good game. But yeah, I didn't play 2089 until the week before Smoke and Thunder came out. It completely slipped out of my mind. So I played them both kind of back to back, and oh my god, so good. And I could watch like if they made movies out of those cinematics, I would just sit there and watch them all day long. They're so neat. Yeah. But yeah, the 2089 was really awesome. Smoke and Thunder was great, but it did seem a little easier. I didn't play either one of them on hard yet. I just did normal. I honestly didn't know what to expect. I'd try not to look into things. So I did, what were they for you guys? Like 35, 45 minute-ish?
In terms of experience, I mean, it really depends on how many times you fail, right? I mean, I think
if hard, it probably took them longer.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing with hard, apart from the first, because when we did the podcast 2 weeks ago, I just jumped in back to Pistol Whip, and I don't think I played it for a couple of months. So I jumped in straight into hard because that's just how I used to play. And the first one, I just couldn't get past the first half of it, and I just kept dying. So then I played some regular ones, so some of the other tracks on hard, just to get back in the groove and realize how much I need to move like a madman. And then I came back to it, and then I finished the first. I think there's 5 missions if I'm correct, and I finished the first 4 straight away, like finish. So what are they like? 5 minutes per mission, 10 minutes per mission? I don't think it's 10 minutes. It feels long, but it's just a tracker song, right? So it's probably 4 minutes.
A little cinematic,
it's probably 4 minutes per track technically. So I guess with 4 it would take me 6 it would take me like 20 minutes to get to the first 4, and then but that's just the way I play. The thing is great now that once you've finished it now comes up in the standard arcade, and that's when you can customize a lot because they have the new new feature set, which I forget what it's called. I don't know if you know it on top of my head. I didn't write it down, but where you can actually now customize everything. So you can customize every type of gun that you have. You can use preloaded customized sets that users have put and voted on that this is a great set. They've got like a good set of the day.
Styles, that's what it's called.
Styles, that's it. It's not set, it's styles. Which so you can now go back and play the DLCs and play all the other arcade ones in a completely different light. Because like I said, the boom shot gun, which is it's like a shotgun. I kept reloading every time I shot it once, even though it has 2 bullets. But that's just I thought it's the only way I could do it. But I think that makes it a little easier because sometimes, especially in hard, there's so many enemies. And with the boom shot, it kind of simplifies it a little bit for me. I don't know why, I also find it hard with dual wielding personally. I know it kind of should make sense that it makes it easier, but I'm just terrible with my left hand. I think that's why. I think I'm just a dominant right. So what I was doing, I wish I had the controllers in my hand. What I was doing is I was literally on the video version here. I was holding the hands together. So I had
so they go in the same direction.
They go in the same direction. So everything was going in the same direction. And that's why I found it easier and worked for me. But I know people are better with their left hand, their weaker hand coordination. So, they'll be bosses at it. But there'll be 2 horsemen coming across, one on the left, one on the right. And I'll be shooting one single-handedly rather than doing both at the same time. But that's just the way I do it. But then, so you can now customize it. Now you can play that whole mission with a water gun instead. So, has anyone tried out the styles at all?
Yeah, a bit. I liked using the 2089 semi-automatic gun, the spray gun. In the Smoke and Thunder. Mm-hmm. And I really like the boom shot with unlimited ammo.
Yeah, it makes it a tad easier, right?
Yeah, then I can do hard mode.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, it's a fantastic game.
I gotta say, we played Demio a while back, so you guys have been on my friends list and seeing your names pop up every day. Hey, so and so got this many points on this level. Go play it. And it has I love Synthriders. I haven't played it for months just because I'm always playing other things. Yeah. But seeing you on there a lot is really okay, maybe I can give Supernatural a break, go play some Synthriders for a couple months. And so I'm probably gonna hop back into it, and it's probably because of you guys. So that's
nice.
Awesome.
Nice. I did make the mistake of doing that once by going back into Synthriders, going, I bet I can probably do something better than Samson, Went into Master, kept getting fails after the first 20 seconds of the song. I was like, how do you do this? You're an absolute machine.
I joined the Synthriders Facebook group, and I friended a few people in there, and one of them actually chatted me, and she was like, I just saw your scores. You're really good at this game. Oh god,
this all should go on your Hinge profile, Samson.
Yeah,
put your Synthrider score in there. That'd be hilarious.
Oh god.
All right, is there anything else anyone was playing, or should we?
No.
I just want to. I've not played it yet, but I just downloaded it just before the show. I just downloaded the Mondly app, and for those of you who don't know that one, we talked about this a couple of weeks ago. This is the app that helped you learn how to learn a language.
Yeah.
And puts you in different scenarios. So I haven't played it yet. I just downloaded it, and it was only $9.99, which is much cheaper than I thought. But I don't know if I go in and I have to buy certain packs or something, which I hope not, because I just spent $9.99.
It'd be really interesting to see what you think of that, because again, it's not a game. It's just another use case for VR that's amazing if done properly. So I'm really interested.
That's why it piqued my interest, and plus I had the Oculus 30 code, so it said it'll expire, and I was like, okay, let me get the $3 off. But yeah, that's only a $10 experience, but I'll talk more about that next week after I've put a bit into that. So a little teaser.
You'll have to do it in the new language too.
Yeah, I'll just start speaking Portuguese randomly. I don't know which one to go for at the moment. I don't know what language. I guess I'm in Canada, so I should kind of learn French, but at the same time, I don't want to learn French. That's the Brit in me. That's the British side of me. All right, let's move on to the final part of the show, and that's the games release roundup. And I realize that's a terrible name. I need to find a better name out of that. So we'll talk about there's 4 games that are released this week on the Oculus Quest or Rift platforms. So we'll take it in turns. Samson, let's go with you, and then PJ,
right.
we can go with you for the next one.
Okay.
Yeah,
then we'll cycle. All right. Brink Traveler comes to Quest and PC VR on September 9th. Brink Traveler is a virtual travel experience that takes you to amazing natural locations in full 3D to feel like you're really there. Step into a postcard and visit some of the most breathtaking places on Earth today. Featuring 18 incredible spots to see you across 12 locations, a virtual guide to teach you about your surroundings, collect points of interest, shoot photos to share with your friends, download only the locations you wish to see, and regular content updates with more locations to come.
Awesome. I'm kind of intrigued about this one because there's a couple of points that you just mentioned there that I'm really interested about. First, a virtual guide to teach you about your surroundings, which I think is going to be great. I'm just like, I'm that type of person when I like to go to museums and listen to the audio guides and read everything. So I think, I don't know what spots, I don't know what locations there are. I think it is on the Oculus store if you look on it and you can see what the locations are. But I'm extra excited for that because I know you spoke about it earlier, PJ. Supernatural has amazing locations. Yeah. It's like, oh, you're now in Machu Picchu, or you're in
the
glaciers.
Freaking moon.
I haven't done the moon one.
Oh yeah, it's awesome.
I haven't been
in Mars.
Oh, I got to jump back in it, but that's what I'm really interested to see. And one thing that I was worried about for this one was that it's on Quest and PC VR, and so I think the optimal version is to do it in PC VR. However, download only the locations you wish to see. So hopefully we can download like the full resolution for Quest and put it onto the headset itself, and it'll still look really good.
I don't know that it'll fit in your 64 gig.
I've only got 3 gig left. All right. I've put it up on Twitter before. Anyone wants a 64 gig? It is pristine. It is pristine.
Lightly used.
Like exactly. Hardly used. Actually, I just took it out of the box just to look at it.
You gotta tell. There's got to be a Playtest VR rabid fan that wants like some of your sweat.
Yeah, sign it. Yeah.
Let me create an OnlyFans for my Oculus deal. Oculus. Okay. Yeah. Any super fan out there? Let me know if you want to have. I'll include the VR cover that has been sweating a lot recently because of Synthriders and Pistol Whips. So let me know. And you can have the 64 gig one at a discounted rate as well. I'll give it you for $20 less than the 128 gig one, just because of the market.
Throw in a pair of socks you use to work out and come on, kick it up a notch.
Yeah. I'll personally hand it to you as well. But yeah, any thoughts on this one, guys?
I think it sounds neat. I wouldn't say issue with these kind of things. Like it has to be done really well to be really gripping. Yeah. So it's definitely interested. So I hope it turns out really well because it would be really neat.
Yeah,
especially in the days we live in where maybe you can't go to certain places and you've never been and you really want to see that area or location.
Yeah,
VR
reminds me. I got to renew my passport. I'm much more interested in these types of games if I can like play them with friends, like if I can visit these locations with someone else. I'm not sure about its multiplayer features, but
it just says share the photos with friends, right? But it doesn't say anything else. But yeah, okay, we'll see. That comes out on September 9th. PJ, on to you.
So Beat Arena from Konami is out now on Oculus Quest. $29.99. Is that US or Canadian? I don't know.
US. Everything's US now.
Awesome. Strum, strike, and jam away. Liven up your VR gig. Perform on stage in a band as a pianist, guitarist, bassist, or drummer. all in VR. You can even create your own custom avatar and grab your friends' play data and enjoy a VR jam session together. So I guess you're kind of playing with your friends' ghosts, maybe?
Yeah, like a time trial.
Interesting. Includes score ranking features. Aim for the highest score and find out who's the best performer amongst your friends. Includes tons of beloved Konami arcade tracks as well as new original tunes. Perform your favorite songs from Bimani series and VR. And I don't know what that is, but the Konami kind of catches my eye.
Yeah, I looked at the trailer of this. This already came out in the Chinese and Japanese markets, I believe, or maybe just the Japanese market. It's already out. It's been out for a while now. I think I talked about it on Let's Talk Oculus before it became a podcast, like during the standard YouTube. But now it's out, and I looked at the trailer, and it's simply, if you're into Japanese rock, you're gonna love it. You're gonna absolutely love it. I don't know if either of you two are.
I am not, but I have been going to round one, like the in-person arcade in the mall, and I see the Japanese rhythm game area is like packed with people. So I imagine it is like driven for that crowd.
Yeah, people are actually, they're going to be a good market for this, to be honest. A lot of people are into it. I'm assuming BMani is an anime series. I don't know. I'm sorry.
I was going to say the only like Japanese music I'm really familiar with is all from anime. So
yeah, so I'm assuming it's that they have. I don't know if it's a good.
It's
game
Konami's video game or music video game division.
Oh, I see. Okay, good research there.
Yeah, Wikipedia.
Beautiful. I think it looks a lot going on. There's like anime characters in there, or maybe Konami characters. I'm not too familiar with their games, to be honest. Only obviously the most popular one. But yeah, it's not for me because I don't listen to any of that music. But yeah,
it looks cool. I do love me some rhythm games, but yeah, $30. I don't know that I'm gonna drop it for music. I really don't know.
I don't know, Samson. I feel like you buy everything that we say on this show.
If it goes on sale, maybe.
I remember the last show when you bought a game on air. What was it? The Secret of Metropolis. I was talking about it, and he's already bought it.
You had me look up the price, and then the button's right there.
Yeah, I didn't even finish talking about it. I could have said, yeah, but I hate it. But no, you already bought it. Okay, let's Secret of Metropolis is like kind of like a movie type interactive game, and the next one is called Goliath. It's an Oculus Quest movie narrated by Tilda Swinton, which comes to Quest on September 9th. In fact, I think all of these games we're talking about, apart from the Konami one, is out September 9th. So through mind-bending animation, explore the limits of reality and true story of so-called schizophrenia and the power of gaming communities. Echo, narrated by Tilda Swinton, guides you through the many realities of Goliath, a man who spent years isolated in the psychiatric intuitions. I'm saying that wrong.
Institutions.
Yeah. My English is off. But finds connection in multiplayer games, combining heartfelt dialogue, mesmerizing visuals, and symbolic interactions. Weave through multiple worlds to uncover Goliath's poignant story. It's 25 minutes long. I don't know how much it's going to be. I don't know if any of you seen the trailer for this, but essentially it's an actual person. So Echo, I guess the guy is, in a real world, and then his world starts bending and turning into like Ready Player One-esque. But I'm interested because it says schizophrenia and such, so I'm interested to see if what like subjects they type into and how deep this could be.
Yeah, I'm excited. I love watching movies and any kind of like performance in VR. So this is really definitely be checking this out.
It's a special medium as well with VR because of the interactivity. I don't know if it's going to be any interactivity in this, but the fact that you probably take him as you're in his body, say, so you'll be able to go around, look around and such. So
Yeah, I'll definitely be picking this one up. I love the Quest movies, and yeah, I mean, I imagine I'll learn something about schizophrenia, or like you're put into into the shoes of somebody who's experiencing it. So
Yeah,
it sounds cool.
I would pick this up too. I loved all these VR movies and interactive experiences, and plus, it's such a break from playing a lot of these games as well. It's nice just to sit down and just go through. Most of them are really like feel good experiences. But this could be quite a deep one, so I'm really excited to see what they can do with this.
All right, should I do
Yeah,
the next one?
go for it.
All right. Space Pirate Trainer DX, a massive expansion featuring a full-scale arena mode, comes to Quest on September 9th. $24.99 or a free update for Space Pirate Trainer owners. Pick it up by September 8th because Space Pirate Trainer is $14.99. It will be a glimpse at the future of VR. Will transform your local sports hall into an incredible gameplay arena as you play a manic game of blasters and hide and seek against a friend or drone. Illusions has been working on this revolutionary gameplay for as long as you've been playing Space Pirate Trainer and is absolutely stoked to finally get it in your hands. With new mechanics to prevent players from walking through walls or bumping into one another, the all-new arena mode marks a line in the sand for all future VR experiences. And this game looks sweet.
Yes.
It looks it looks amazing. Yeah, it looks fantastic. I've seen some like content creators play this already. PJ, I remember being on your podcast and we spoke about you going into like a hall and playing some kind of laser quest type game, right?
Yeah, and this, I'm so happy to see this because it was literally a day away from getting a code for beta for this before COVID hit. Like the next day, they're like, due to the pandemic, we don't feel like we want people near each other, so they stopped it. I was so not mad, but I was so let down because this sounds so good. The only thing is I wish it was coming out this summer instead of towards the winter because I don't want to go to a gym or anything. I just want to play out in the yard and stuff. But it looks so good. I don't know, for anyone who hasn't seen trailers, I've been asking for a hide and seek game in VR from every dev I've ever talked to. Like, I want a hide and seek game. Make it. This is kind of hide and seek where you're just kind of shooting each other, and it just looks amazing. And the way they use your space and kind of create the arena around it, I can't wait to try it out.
Yeah, and just to a little bit more detail on this, the new arena mode, it can be online, but it's also can be co-op as well. So you can create your own co-op arena, which is wicked. I know there's only 2 players that can do it co-op, but that's amazing. Like you said, out the yard. I just want to put a disclaimer though: be careful of the sunlight, folks.
Yes.
Because that can ruin your lenses. I think also it says here that there's a new versus mode as well, which is like a multiplayer twist of the classic solo version of Space Pirate Trainer. Every time you shoot a droid, another 1 or 2 will appear attacking your opponent. So that's pretty cool. So if I'm playing Samson, because if I'm much better than Samson, he's going to get killed many times. So
100%.
Samson, what's your thoughts on the arena mode? I guess we'll talk more about that because it's very, very fascinating.
Yeah, I'm very excited for it. I wish I had like this amount of space.
Yeah.
Like easily accessible.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like what you dream of like VR could be. It's like laser tag, it's everything you want. And I love that it's just all real movements, right? I mean, it sucks for the people who like need who can't move, in this like that. But it looks I mean amazing. You can tell that they've put time into it too, because I think I've
Yeah.
seen videos of like people playing this. I think Nathy or something like 2 or 3 years ago.
Yep.
So it's definitely had its development time.
Yep.
Yeah, I think this is exactly what cons how do I put this? Because like the Oculus Quest is the only wireless solution here, right? That you can take away from your PC. You know, I know HTC has its own wireless kind of versions and such, but you know, you still need your PC near. This is what the Quest is kind of all about, where you can throw it in that carrying case and take it wherever you want. Go to a buddy's house, go to the yard or some sort of place, you know, that you can kind of get a big haul out of and play some of this VR. It'll be cool to I don't know if in some gyms you can like rent out squash courts and such or tennis courts and be like, okay, yeah, take the tennis net down and we just want this space. That's all we want it for.
Yeah, they where I live, they put up a pickleball court right
Yep.
down the way. And the first thing that popped in my head was like, all right, Space Pirate Trainer coming out soon. I don't recall them saying anything about online or co-op or anything, so that must be some of the extra time where they put their efforts, because I'm super glad they're putting online in, because my issue, Wookie, my brother / co-host, lives down in the Carolinas. I live up in Wisconsin. All of my gaming friends and old school friends have all moved far away from me.
Yeah.
So the only thing with the Quest is like I would give my Quest headset to anyone who would just say, hey, I'll play with you once a month. I would just give you a Quest headset. Because that's like, my wife can't play VR because she gets sickness very easily. Like even playing I Expect You to Die, sitting down, not moving.
Yeah.
So I have no one to play these kinds of things with. So now that it's online and has co-op, I am even more excited than I was. Because I'm literally out in my yard playing with my headset on. I can't imagine what my neighbors think of me, but I don't care. But I've taken a couple of videos and I look just, if you don't know what the hell VR is, it's like, what is that? What weirdo doing? So I want to get out there more, and this will help me get out there more and be more weird. So
do you have an IR illuminator, or do you just play like with other lighting?
Just other lighting.
Okay.
I wonder if if it gets popular, they manage to expand it to more than one person, more than two people, sorry, in the same player space. Because I think having like a full-on laser tag with like 4 different people, let's say it's just online, that would be awesome. Like co-op is like cool, but you're right, because the way all of us, I mean, like us three, for example, we live in different parts of North America, so to get like a 2v2, it would be really cool.
If I remember correctly, and again, this was right before Corona hit, so I don't know if it's been a year or two. Like time isn't a thing anymore. But I think they started out with 4 players, and again, that was all local, so maybe they've changed it up. But that would be awesome.
Yeah, there might be some limitations in terms of the hardware as well, because I think they've said is with new mechanics as well, probably made it look a little bit prettier as well than what it used to look like as well. So yeah, if I think for anyone who's not picked up Space Pirate Trainer and is intrigued by it, go pick it up now, because like I said, it's going to be $10 more after September 9th. So, and the good thing about this is that this arena thing, most people probably won't play this, or will like not play this that often because of the space requirements. So it'd be good to, if you get the $14.99 one, at least you don't feel bad that you're not playing it as much, because you can just dabble it in if you want. It's technically like a free update, which is really nice of them to do, because I'm sure they put so much work into this. To release it just for free is insane.
Just the standard game that is out now and that it's been out for a long time is great, but just them adding verses on there just to the base game, I would pick this up again, because as much as I've played it, it's the kind of game that would be way more fun with at least one other person. And it, like you said, shooting robots, making them appear on the other guy's side just sounds great.
Yeah. I mean, I think Samson can speak to this because he says it all the time. VR is much better when it comes with multiplayer, right? It's the best part about it, because you feel like you're in the room with them,
100%.
But yeah, I'm excited about this. I think we better start thinking about play spaces, to be honest. I know you got your yard. I'm looking at my yard and I don't think it's that big.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to be moving soon. I'm going to be losing my play space for sure.
Exactly. We're gonna need we have to be think creatively. I think hopefully by next week's show, me and Samson can come up with some ideas of where we can play this.
I
Um,
was when I first got into VR, I was so into it. I literally was thinking about buying a building, a grocery store nearby went kind of moved.
mm.
So it was just this huge vacant building. I'm like, I could make that into an
Oh,
arcade.
Arcade, yeah.
yeah.
And
Here in Erie, there's an empty Kmart. That's exactly how I feel.
yeah, and
Mm.
it's like I'm glad I didn't because of COVID, but now I'm back to like, yeah.
Mhm.
And the main reason is just so people come to play and I can play with people and have that space for a reason. So
Right.
we'll see what happens.
I think it's important for, I don't know if they, I don't think they will because this is just how Facebook has been doing their marketing for games that we always keep speaking about on this podcast. But I feel like they should really, really push this game. And the reason why is that there are VR arcades out there already. There's one actually not far from my house. I've never been in there, but I kind of should show my face. And but they all use HTCs. They all use HTCs
Yep.
with obviously the pulley system and connected to high-end gaming PCs. And obviously, people go there for like birthday parties and such, and probably have a really good time and love VR. But they all come up the way when they go, okay, VR is only on high-end PCs. You know, they never
Yep.
think about, oh, they potentially want it. Now that these VR arcades could have, you know, because they already have, well, some of them at least have these big halls for VR. If they replace all those HTCs with Oculus Quest headsets, now they're like, you know, the people can go in and they go, oh, it's wireless.
Yeah.
It's I can pick this up for $300 and just play this at my house. And you know that's a big selling point for them. It's a massive selling point for them. So I think Facebook will be crazy not to try and push this.
Yeah, because it can do what no other headset can do.
Mhm.
And I say this all the time on our podcast. Like my very first experience in VR, how mind blowing that was. When I took my Quest out in my yard and played Eye of the Temple 2 years ago
Mhm.
with no boundaries, no anything, it was just as mind blowing. And it was just
Yeah.
like they really do need to like probably do a little better job of making the Quest daylight friendly because you really do have to be careful.
Yeah.
But then, like you said, just push this and really market it because there is nothing like this at all. So it's a really
No.
big selling point.
Yeah. I think there'll be madness not to push this. And plus, obviously, being in a big arena and you actually move yourself, it probably eliminates motion sickness completely. I assume
Yeah.
it's all gone. You're actually moving. So yeah, it's they got to push it. They got to push it. But yeah, that's everything that's coming out this week. So before we wrap the show up, PJ, give us your favorite Quest games.
Favorite Quest game? Oh my god!
Give us like two or three shout outs of what you think people should play, even if it's as common as Beat Saber. I know you're not going to say that, but I'm just
Let's
gonna
not say Beat Saber. No. We've said Pistol Whip. Pistol Whip is a great game. If you haven't played it, play it. You'll feel like John Wick, and you'll feel like such a badass. Demio is again one of my top
Mhm.
tabletop games with co-op. You can play alone, but if you play with people, it's amazing. Um, Warplanes is another great game that has great co-op, has level editor on PC VR. You can share it with friends. You can play and dogfight with stuff. Anything with co-op, I love. So obviously,
Yeah.
and then even Elven Assassin, great co-op game, has some PvP in it. Just a fun time. All those games are just a blast to play. Pick up, play. They're pretty simple,
Yeah,
but
definitely. I haven't played Warplanes. Is that that just came out recently, but well off App Lab. Do you experience much motion sickness in that game or not? Or was it
not at all. And I played a beta a long time ago on PCVR, and to see it on the Quest, like it looks amazing.
Mm-hmm.
And to counterpoint like motion sickness, so we bought my nephew a headset a long time ago, and he plays a little bit here and there. He's really busy, so he has suffered motion sickness, but in warplanes he hasn't. And that's saying something for an aviation game.
Yeah.
Me myself, I haven't had motion sickness since the very first time I ever got it, and it's been gone.
Mm-hmm.
So in warplanes, like I'm standing up, looking over the wings and looking for people. I'm rolling around. It's a blast. You don't have to do any of that if you don't want to, but you can. But yeah, I haven't felt anything. He hasn't felt anything, which is saying something. So
that's encouraging, because I was a little worried about recommending that to new VR owners, because I would have thought that motion sickness would be high in that game. But that's good to hear, especially that, you know, someone new has tried it.
Yeah, and I was worried too. I'm like, all right, let's pay for 10 minutes. We'll go play something else. And he was fine for hours.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, and with that, that's our podcast. Thank you so much, PJ, for joining us.
Oh, it was great to be here. I listen to you guys all the time. I love it. I love talking to you guys when we can. So anytime you want to collaborate in any way, hit me up.
Yeah, awesome. Definitely. Thanks for coming. I love keeping up with you on Twitter.
Definitely. And like I said earlier at the top of the show, Jeffrey, check out the VR Verdict podcast. It is on all good platforms. It's not on video, right? It's just on the audio platforms.
Now that we host live from VR, it is on our YouTube channel and Facebook page.
Oh, nice.
You can catch the video
on there. Nice. Yep. So yeah, you can see how Spatial Lake works as well when you watch those on the VR Verdict YouTube channel. So like I said, I'll put all the links in the description below. And with that, we'll see you next Tuesday. Thank you very much all for listening or watching. Take care.